All right, I call the meeting to order. And please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you do a roll call for us, Laura.
Nola?
Yes, here.
Renee?
Here.
Lee?
Here.
Carrie?
Here.
Gerald?
Here.
Lori here. Jeff?
Here. Next, we have approval of the agenda. Obviously, very short agenda for the special meeting. Just two things on there. But if someone would like to make a motion to approve the agenda,
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I second that.
Carrie with the second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Everyone in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have our public comment section. If anyone is feeling enthusiastic about giving a separate public comment, you definitely can. Hearing none, we'll move on to our decision items.
Sorry.
Well, wait a minute. Is this a point where I would say to the people interviewing, if you know me and you don't like me, sorry, you're going to be working with me? And I am easy to get along with.
Public apology.
There you go.
In advance.
Sorry, you're gonna get to know me.
Just kidding, guys.
No, you're not.
First of all, we have the cemetery coordinator position. Jessica had taken that over. She's been doing it for quite a while, I believe about the last 12 years. That does fall normally under the clerk's office. I think before Jessica, I heard that the fire chief did it.
Yep.
So it's been a little odd here the whole time, but Lori would like to take it back over into her office, and they've already been making that transition. So we just need a motion to do that.
I make a motion to allow Lori to take over Jessica's position with the cemeteries, correct?
As cemetery
As
coordinator.
cemetery coordinator.
And I'll second that.
Seconded by Carrie. Any other discussion? Hearing none, let's do a roll call vote.
Nola?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Renee?
Yes, ma'am.
Lee?
Yes.
Gerald?
Yes.
Lori, yes. Jeffrey?
Yes. Motion passes. Next, we have the administrative assistant hire, which is obviously our big thing for the meeting. And at this point, as I explained, we're going to interview all three of you separately. I just put people's information into the packet, and so it just fell into a natural order. So Lexi, if you want to stay in the room, and then if Kelly, if you want to head out your seat. And there are 3 chairs set up out there in the shade around the corner of the building.
Do you want me to go up here?
Yes, and if you would come up to our lectern here.
Do I go to this one?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
the
please.
folder.
Yep.
There you go.
And so we have information, everyone's had an opportunity to reveal it to the
Okay, go
extent
shut
they
him
want.
out.
But I think that's completely fine, because they're all the way outside, handing out
Oh,
the speakers out there
okay.
turned out.
Okay.
And so if you want to just present a couple of minutes on who you are, why you're here, why you would like the position.
Okay, my name is Lexi. I am highly interested in this position. I would say that I've always kind of had an interest in working in a government job. I think it's really interesting, especially just like specifically like township is like a lot smaller, more than like a city hall. I just find it interesting to learn like, you know, just like how government is something that's always been used and since people became a society. And so to know to just like figure out all the different departments and stuff and how they work and how they work to best serve the public. And like again, I know my past experience I brought up before, but I did serve like a small community. I worked in a credit union that was this, you know, same people came in and I really got to know them. And that's like the part of the aspect of the job I really enjoyed. So I would enjoy being a part of, again, a smaller community and getting to know the small community and the public and to learn how to serve them.
All right. And now, if anyone has any questions for Lexi, this would be the time. We'll have a discussion after all 3 interviews, just among the board, of course, but any questions for her? You definitely want to ask them now.
Since you work here for a friendly family, what were exactly you were doing with the children? Is that child care
first child and I watched him, and then when he turned 3, they had their second one. So I had 2 kids for the rest of the 3 years that I was with them. It is my sister, but it was like a very intense job actually. It's probably the hardest job I've had yet. Because my sister is just like really serious, like it was a lot. It was really long days, and it wasn't just babysitting. It was like, I had to do a lot with them. There was like a lot of specific disorders that I had to work with, a lot of like speech therapy and things like that, and like they had like kind of like eating disorders that I had to like kind of like train them on like every single day and just like teaching them and stuff. So it was very challenging, but also the most probably rewarding job I've ever had.
Since you worked here for Federal Credit Union, what was your job exactly in that position and what were you doing?
So when I started, I was a part-time teller, and that was just the basic, like, you know, all the transactions and stuff, opening accounts. But then I think I kind of pushed it further just to kind of see like where they kind of needed help. They had a lot of like outdated, it was really small, so they had like a lot of outdated stuff that I kind of just felt like I could help. So I like redid like mostly all their forms and kind of pushed like I was doing like their social media and stuff and for Facebook, and creating like just things like staff events and like kind of trying to organize stuff for that. And so then once that started happening, I was like redoing like a lot of our packets and our information that we gave out to people when we were opening accounts. So then once that happened, they did promote me to the head teller position. I believe it was I think it was beginning of May, I got promoted to the head teller position. And then that was just like a lot more responsibilities. Like I had to balance the vault out versus just my drawer. I had to like sell or like buy the cash from everyone else's drawers. And I had to balance the ATM every single day. It was just like more added responsibility to like what I was already doing. And then I was getting into card services and getting into fraud and getting into collections.
Okay, Kathleen gave you a review or whatever, and she made me remark that you quit without notice. I don't know what job position that was in, and I don't know the details of any of that, but to quit a job without notice is a pretty scary thing to do to any business, especially in a little township like Dalton Township.
Yeah.
Can you give us any details about what happened with that?
Yes, there was an incident. I can go into further detail if you'd like me to, but they did something illegal. They completely invaded my privacy. They were looking into my account.
Good enough.
Okay.
Thank
Sorry.
you. Appreciate that.
What would you say is your greatest strength, and then also what do you think is your greatest weakness?
I would say my greatest strength is probably just like seeking more knowledge. I ask questions. I like to ask questions. I need to know why things work, and I don't like, even if you just give me like a simple answer, I like the reason behind that, because the reasons like make me retain it more. And then also when I see things that aren't quite working, I don't just complain about them. I see why they aren't working. I come up with a solution. I, kind of say like, oh, well, what do you think about this? And then if we can implement that, it makes me really proud. It makes me keep going. It makes me excited to come to work every day.
Problem solving.
Yes, problem solving.
And weakness, what would you say?
Weakness.
Yourself, it's like, oh.
I know. I would just say maybe like I'm a little shy, so maybe I don't insert myself in as much as other people would, because I kind of like I said, I do ask questions, but I don't really like push myself onto people as much as I've seen other people like working with different people.
As this job, as administrative assistant, what are some things that you're expecting to be dealing with on a daily basis? And if there is a major situation, what are you going to do to help rectify those issues? What is the process you're looking at doing?
Well, I'm not quite sure like what exactly the responsibilities are for this position specifically. I know I asked like if it'd be more of like all departments, or if it'd be like more tailored to like the treasurer. I think that was one of the things that was said when I asked before. So I'm definitely looking just to like, I know like, again, like working in the city hall or township is to like service the public. So that's what I'd like to do, and I just really like all the little things like filing. I mean, who loves filing? I do. Like, it's really like therapeutic and stuff. Like, I just like filing and like creating like Word docs and just like doing like stuff like that. That to me is just like work I like doing because I like to see a task and I like to get it done. And things like that to me are very like, make me feel good about getting a list of things done for me.
And on the idea of duties, so it is an administrative assistant position that we're hiring for now. The treasurer is Gerald. He has the choice on the deputy treasurer. And so the board doesn't vote on that, he ends up choosing. And in that capacity, those are essentially added duties onto the general things that you handle in the office.
Okay.
Good. These are excellent questions. Any other? No? All right. Is there anything specific that you would like to leave us with?
Just thank you so much for having me. This has been a very interesting and cool experience for me.
Excellent. Well, I really appreciate it. So we'll obviously do two more, so it won't be too long. But Steve, if you want to get Hedberg for us, we'll have her in next.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lexi.
Thank you, Lexi. Kelly
I
Hedberg.
really had her.
She was set up next in the pack.
That's McGann is the one. She's.
Oh, well, Graf isn't coming.
A graph.
Graph is not coming.
Yeah, she.
She put you all together?
Yeah.
Correct.
Wow, so we know those things.
Well, I sent out the email about it.
Coming here, but
So Kelly Hedberg is that?
Hedberg.
Okay, thank you. This one's. Yeah.
Yeah, Graf, she had an opportunity in her current position to try to have a promotion and try to fix a program that she wanted to fix.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Interesting stuff.
Let's go, Kelly, do you want to come on up to the lectern there?
No pressure. No. Step right up. That price is right. No.
we don't have a spotlight.
Actually,
Everyone has some information, I mean, an informational packet.
I'm
and-
sorry. Just saying.
And everyone will be able to ask questions, but if you want to just take a couple of minutes and tell us who you are, why you're interested in the position, and we'll ask questions.
My name's Kelly, obviously you know this. I have a crazy background. I have done a little bit of everything from maintenance, management, administrative, accounts receivable. I've even helped out with concrete and building, so I've done all that. My dad was and I know I didn't tell anybody this before, my dad was a home builder. So, and my fiance, he was a home builder, concrete finisher, all that good stuff, you know, siding, windows. I know a little bit about everything. So I had a bachelor's degree in psychology, mediation certificate, notary, all kinds of good stuff. And the reason why I'm here today is thankfully because I passed the rest of the interview, but no, because I care about our community and I want to be a part of it, and I think that you all would be a good team to work with, and I know everybody that I've met so far, they seem pretty upbeat, so I'd like to keep it that way. She's laughing down there, why?
That's my wife. She's that's just how she is. Don't take nothing personal.
All right, but that's why I'm here today, is because I do care about our community. I live in Dalton Township, so, not that far from here, Michelin Road, so that's why I'm here.
Snow days are not an option.
You're gonna get me a snowmobile. Now we're talking.
All right, well, questions?
I'm gonna go ahead and ask the same question. What do you think is your, on a personal level, from your own viewpoint, your greatest strength and your greatest weakness?
The same answer for both is people. I've been in housing for over 10 years, so they are my greatest strength, working with people, but they can also be a weakness. And it will forever be an ongoing thing with me to learn to not feel sorry for them or feel bad. You have to evaluate each situation as it is. So.
Actually, didn't have any questions. I really enjoyed the applications process, so,
It's pretty straightforward.
yeah.
And she had gone through almost the entire process, right up until the end for zoning administrator as well. And we ended up, Steve, of course, we had two
No
people.
hard feelings.
that
You wouldn't be working with him, just saying.
And the two people that had degrees and experience in the field was the major difference, but a major part of the reason that she had gone so far in that is because she was very, very on point about getting all of her information back and not having any mistakes and that type of thing, not skipping anything.
You got my happy
You chose volunteer work, you did Humane Society, Marine American United Way, what were you doing in those positions?
A lot of yard work.
Yard work.
Yeah, yard work, kennel work, those kind of things. But I love animals. I love people. We got to clean up. A lot of times it wasn't just for a home. It was for daycares, things like that. And around Muskegon, different things around Muskegon.
Now you were going through the mediator training before, now you've completed that and seem very interested in that, which is good. If something were to come up specifically on that, while you were in this position, yeah, I know because you're interested in that, do you think this would be a good enough fit where you may pass up some other opportunity that eventually will probably come up?
Oh, you mean like working for a mediation?
Right.
I've already passed that.
Okay.
So, I do volunteer though, so, haven't been able to lately, I work a lot, so,
Do you just want to volunteer in that field?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just volunteers fine. Because honestly, I am excluded from a lot of the mediations because of my background. So I know a lot of the people that are in there doing their mediation and other
okay.
mediators, so I know too many people in order, to do that. Housing, 10 years in housing, a little over 10 years. So I know so many people, and it just, unfortunate, it just doesn't work for me, so. But I love the mediation, I do love it, so if something comes up, I'm right there for you.
If selected, how long would you plan on being here at the township?
Well, hopefully until it doesn't exist anymore. No, I would love to, it's long-term. I'm looking for a career position, not just a position. And I honestly have not been able to find that yet since the housing business kind of went under, so I'm looking and I'm hoping this is it. If it's not, I understand. I do understand. You just have to find the right fit, that's all.
Do
do you have any hobbies? I mean, it sounds like you probably don't have time for that, you know, this volunteer work, but.
I got a garden. I love my garden. It's a raised box garden, and yes, we put it together ourselves. So, raised box garden, we've got dogs, actually we've got dogs, ducks, and cats. So, I make time. My weekends are what I call my vacations. I don't take vacations, so that's my weekends.
Satisfied? Questions?
Any other questions? Hearing none, is there anything that you would like to leave us with?
No, I'm sitting here feeling sorry for her out there. I was like, maybe I should go. But no, I feel like I would be a good fit for the position. I feel like I could be a great team player, and I love learning new things, so anything even, I don't know if there is anything outside the job, but if there was, I would be all about learning. So if you do decide to choose me, I just want you to know that. I am all about learning, and even if you don't choose me at this time, I would be happy to volunteer also for anything you might have coming up. So, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. To just go back outside?
Yeah, if you want to just wait out there, or one more interview and then a discussion.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Yes, Kim and I both.
Anybody can get a notary.
Anybody can be a notary. Just,
I knew that, I knew that, but I wasn't sure if there was any here too.
Yeah, I mean, it's not anything you test for or anything like that. You just pay your bond fee and you can get it.
Wow.
There's nothing.
Here, outside.
Yeah.
information.
If you want to go ahead and stand at the lectern for us.
Really? Okay,
No pressure.
no pressure.
And we'll have anyone ask questions, but if everyone has an information packet, if you want to just take a couple of minutes and explain who you are, why you're interested in the position, why you're qualified.
Okay, I'm Kelly Kinsner. I've been working in an office setting for about 40 years. Tells how old I am, I know. And then I had a year off because of COVID. My position was eliminated as structural. So I took the year off, and then I started to get antsy and wanted to get back out there and do something different. So I happened to come upon this job. My husband was here to get a permit, and he brought me an application. I filled it out. I didn't even know there was an opening, but I got a call like a week later. And I've only been 5 months, I think, in the district court. I tried that and collection, probation area, and I just, it's not for me. I usually get to a job and come for a company and stay 15, 20 years or whatever. It's only, I know it's only been 5 months. That doesn't look so good probably, but it's, I've tried it and I don't want to go to work every day. It's just no fun. I mean, you're getting plaintiffs, or you're getting defendants coming sent down constantly from the judges, and they're ordered to be there, they're throwing their papers at you and mad, and I need to write a payment plan, or I'm on probation, and, you know, you try your best, and it's just, it's not for me. I can do the schematics or whatever of the job, write them their plan or whatever they need. I think I'm past that attitude when it gets to scary. When you have a button under your desk, you know, to get the deputies there to take them out, or call mental health, or, you know, I don't know, I go into it, but it's just it's not for me. I like to work as a team player, I like to help people, I like my own projects, you know, independently I can do all of that, but the environment there wasn't for me, and I want that again. I want to look forward to going to work, or at least not like it, you know, so that's why I'm gonna try something different.
Well, 20 years as a corrections officer, I totally understand what you're saying.
You get some
You get some-
interesting,
You get some Class A characters,
You
let's
do.
put it that way.
you do, and I don't wanna judge anyone. Anyone can get into a little jam or have a traffic problem or something, but
But the attitudes and the PR, personal relations aspect of it, especially that negative department,
yeah, I don't, yeah.
totally understand.
All right.
I mean, what they do is necessary and everything, I just don't know that I'm the person.
Right, because I would not say anybody can be a corrections officer.
Right.
It's a very unique breed. So I understand what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. It's just- yeah, it's not everyone can do it. It's not an easy job with that type of environment because you're already in a negative aspect because the people there are looking at you in a negative light already. Just from what.
Yeah, they're not gonna look at you like you're there to help them, let's write this plan so you can stay on a course, or let's get you in these programs. They're not at that moment looking at you like you're the helper.
No, exactly. You're the enemy.
Yeah, everyone in that
You're part of the
building
system.
is the enemy.
If you're part of the system, you're part of their problem that they're dealing with at that very moment.
Yes.
Totally understand that. And how long are you doing that?
I think Wednesday I have my 6-month review. We were put on probation. So
Right.
that-
How appropriate.
I know. The 3-month one, I mean, I'm doing well. They're saying you're learning great, you're doing this on your own now, but you also have to look inside. And if you're every day feeling, I don't want to go there again.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, no.
I mean,
Totally understand.
Do you have a question?
so this sounded like you guys might not be to quite that caliber.
No.
I don't think it's a negative, just my opinion, I don't think it's a negative that you're looking for another position because you already recognize the fact that it's not your greatest strength to be in a negative environment. So there's
Right,
some
I
people
don't
love
mind
that.
some, but I mean, I don't want to feel threatened and people swearing at the top of their lungs
Yeah.
and.
I completely understand, this is my.
Yeah, because I've never not lasted this long, you know, inside you're wondering, am I a quitter?
No.
You know what I mean? But
No.
I think it's wisdom. I think it's wisdom that you're recognizing it personally.
Knowing what's
So my,
right for you.
my 2 questions for you are, outside of that, what do you think are your greatest strengths and what do you think is your greatest weakness?
I think always, even from a young age, my greatest strength in the work field is dedication, and dependability, and a really high work ethic. I want to get as much accomplished as I can. I will be there at work. I will be a little early. I'll never be late. And I think it's either something you have or you don't. I've had it since I started at 18 or whatever, and I think people that I work for and with would also say those are just a high work ethic, and she will be there and help you get the job done.
Greatest weakness?
I think I don't like what I'm noticing now is I feel guilty asking for help, even though it's something that's might be so new to you, especially if you get a negative vibe, you know, because everyone's busy and they don't have time for this, for that, but I think my weakness that I've decided is thinking I have to know everything immediately. Can I weigh that on myself?
Worst critic?
I am my worst critic, the worst, yeah. Should be.
I noticed when going through the packet, situational judgment test results, mine is completely unused.
They're not highlighted.
They're
Yeah,
not
hers,
highlighted in
Yeah, mine
there.
is-
So you
it
can-
it marked, it gave how many it said that we had correct.
Was I to do that? You know,
It's just a formatting,
Okay.
which,
I-
That's in the order. It's not in order at all.
yeah.
That was some interesting testing. It really challenged you, like, you know, what should be next, or what, you know, it's kind of neat, yeah. I hadn't done that before.
Now, what did you do before this job?
Actually, that's okay.
I was the administrative assistant or executive assistant to the president of Structural Concepts.
What did they do there?
They manufacture like refrigerated display cases that hold beverages and foods in your supermarkets and Starbucks and gas stations, and they're specialty cases.
Anything about-
I worked for him and his, mainly his staff, you know, any way I could. Travel arrangements, expense reports. I helped accounting quite a bit, get their invoicing out to the customers, you know, making PDFs and emailing them. Anything they needed, you know, if they're going to a conference, you do the air hotel registration, I did ordering business cards, things like that,
And did
cell
you-
phones.
Did you do any like accounting type work, treasurer work type stuff, or?
I didn't get into it where I created the invoices so much as I was given the big pile a day that were going out to the customers, and I audited what they had done, some of the information they had put on. And then I would send those, scan them and get them to the customers. And I entered every day I'd get a stack of credit card orders that had come in, and I'd process those in the system, and I like that. Unless you get decline.
That's all my questions.
Any more? Any more questions? Is there anything in particular you would like to leave us with?
I was hoping that you would see that over time, I do like to find a place where I fit and stay. It's not like I job hop, and I was hoping this last little glitch in my resume wasn't a big distraction to you, but I've got, you know, quite a few years left to work, 10 or more, whatever, and I don't like this, not wanting to go, and I had never had that before, anywhere I was. I got enjoyment in what I did and what I accomplished, and I'm just not feeling it,
Right.
so.
No, that's not against you, trust me.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Paperwork says it's to present, so we didn't know that you weren't there. But you're still there, right?
Yeah, I'm there, I went today,
That's
whether I'll be there tomorrow. I was there. It just sounded like it's still helping the public and working together with people, but I think it might be a little toned down clientele.
You deal with Dalton Township people, I think it's going to be toned down quite a bit.
I know, I live here.
Whereabouts do you live?
I live on East McMillan, about 4 miles off of over there off of M120.
Okay.
Lived there about, I guess, 12 years.
All right, perfect. Well, we appreciate it. So I'm just gonna have to have the candidates sit outside for a little while the board discusses.
Either way,
First, where you wanna go?
whatever is decided, I'm totally comfortable with that. I want you to find your fit as well.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Back with the ladies.
Yes, welcome, BG.
Oh, Sure.
Picked out? Oh, yeah.
Well, there we go. So we want to discuss what people are thinking and direction here.
I'll let Kelly had so
Me too.
between her and Kelly Kirchner, I think Edward Scott Warner, she's more stable.
I like all the different things that she has accomplished and done. The psychology part is, I think it's important in this township.
We need our own council.
Right, Kinzer, she seems a little flexible in some areas, maybe, I don't know. She's very self-judgmental. And I find that could be a detriment if there's a problem. She would,
Take things personal.
exactly, take things personal and let's face it, you work with PR, you work with the public.
Yeah, I see where you're going. She's very,
And she might be just a little less confident because of the position you're left with trying to transition out of the job, but yeah, you can see that.
And that's my biggest concern. And just watching her body language, like you said, she's tended, there's something there that's underlying. She's got a lot of self-doubt. We need somebody, I think, in this position, especially administrative assistant, to be working with all y'all, that's going to be self-confident and able to take critique, and not crumble underneath it. I think Ms. Hedrick's probably the best position for that.
Okay, well, let me tell you, since this isn't my first rodeo with these people, I already had my three picked out, the order. And I had Lexi Stivix first, then Kelly Kitzner, and then Kelly Hedberg. The reason being that Lexi and Kelly actually have experience working with the public. They're going to be, Lexi especially, she works in a credit union, okay? She sees people come in and out every day. She's bubbly, she's ready to go, she's enthusiastic. When we asked her questions like, her biggest personal accomplishment is going into a job, seeing something that's not right, analyzing it, and fixing the problem. Okay, that's the kind of thing that we're gonna have to deal with. I mean, she's gonna have to deal with that every day. I mean, there's always, we have people coming in and out. We are not always gonna be able to fix things for them right away. And we have to, we have to have somebody that can think on their feet. And can, somebody comes in with a problem and stop and analyze it and say, okay, what can I do? How can I fix this? If I can't fix it, and we did ask her the question about what would you do if you didn't have an answer? She said, I will find someone that does. And that's what we need. So that's why Lexi came up high for me. And then Kelly, she's got the background, she's been in administrative.
Which Kelly?
Kelly Kinsner. She's got the background, she's been an administrative assistant. She knows, she's worked with a group of people. She's been in a position where she's had to, research. She's had to do things within the administrative position here. Sometimes you have to dig and research. Sometimes you have to go find an answer. So that's why she, those two are my 1 and 2. I like Kelly Hegberg, but she doesn't bring to the table the kind of things that we're looking for. She's got a lot of education. She's got, but her education is in a different field. And my fear is boredom, because, she's got a bachelor's degree in psychology. She's a mediator. Once in a while, that may come to the table, but that kind of stuff isn't going to be in this office every day. And so it's not that I don't like her, I just think that, I hate to say she's kind of overqualified. This job is, I just don't know that this job would be satisfying for her at her education level to keep her where she's going to want to stay. And at this point, we're looking at somebody that wants to stay, We don't want somebody that's gonna be here for 6 months and hit the road.
Right.
So, those were my thoughts. Now, you can agree with them, you can't, but that was but I will say, and when I saw Lexi, I kind of like, okay, that reminds me of Jess. She's young, she's enthusiastic, she wants to work, she has a lot of talking to her, she's got a lot of savvy as far as technically. I mean, we've got this administrative position, they have to be able to do the website, they need to be able to use the programs, and I think she's gonna be a quick learner. Okay, my spiel's done. There you go. And I will say, I mean, I'm gonna work with her, but I'm not gonna work with her, I'm not gonna be the one that's gonna work with her majorly. But there will be some things that we'll have to work together on, so that was my thought.
I have to say, it drives me crazy that she said like 10, 20, 30,
I know she did say that a lot,
times.
but,
She said, at least 10.
I know, but I'm looking at,
Which that's
I'm
her
looking
age
at her
group.
age group.
It's her age
Exactly.
Yeah.
I took that right off the table because that's the age group. My grandson talks to me like that all the time.
My daughters too.
Yeah,
I
so-
call with them. But that's the only thing I can say negative about her.
Really, that was it.
That's my
Mike is
point.
home. But that's the age group, and I took that right off the table.
So even looking at Kelly Hedberg's though, she's got good computer skills and abilities as well though, you know?
I think, in reality, I think any of the three could do the job.
I think so too.
So-
Other wouldn't be here at this point.
Right, so because we had over 70 applications, and, I listed the process, and we've whittled it down. Now, Jess, when I talked to her, she did put Stibbits on top, because, mostly it seemed like, because she liked the personality, which is true. Last time, Steve and Kim are here, but Steve had Hedberg on top from his email at the time. Does that still hold? Has anything changed since then, Steve, or?
Still holds.
Yeah, and then.
My choice failed today, so. Shows I have good taste, right?
Oh, gosh.
The original
Well,
choice.
someone else hired her, so.
She just had all kinds of Excel experience, and
She did.
we do so many spreadsheets, and if there's an error in that spreadsheet, I'm not always gonna have time to help find it, so, somebody has to have experience to go with it.
And I think too with Kelly, if she's already tried for another position here, she really wants to work at this hall. She really wants to work for her community.
And I did not reach out to her. She saw that it was open and contacted
I
me
think
about
that says a
applying
lot
for
about
this
her.
position again.
About her really desiring to be in this position and to retire out here, as long as it remains.
This isn't just a whim, whether they're overqualified or not. I think she's had the best fit.
In communicating and emailing back and forth, Hedberg was the easiest to work with on that step.
She got my vote.
Other thoughts, ideas, comments, concerns?
Well, to help ease Kim's mind a little bit, and I did touch base with Kelly Hedberg a little bit on the first interview. She does have some experience with spreadsheets. She is just not, per se, an expert.
Yeah, I just noticed they all said knowledge, and just one of them had experience. That's, as long as you got knowledge in it, it's better than nothing. I think any of them would be. I was feeling sad for you guys when you had to pick from 4. So I unveiled, I was like, okay, that's a good thing, because now you're down to 3, and I think they're all 3 very qualified for it. And I think all 3 would be very easy to work with and work well with the public.
Who of all of you is going to be working with this person the most?
Right there.
And me.
You had to put them in an order of 1, 2, 3, 1 being your first choice. You don't even think of the reason why. You want
I
to.
have Lexi on top. I don't want to make the decision though.
No, we're just asking.
They're asking your opinion.
I have Lexi on top, then I had Kelly. And originally going into this, before the interviews, I did have, this is why it's hard for me, I did have Kelly Hedberg. Because I was impressed that she reapplied without even being I mean, she came to him and said, hey, I see it's advertised again. And when she interviewed for the administrator, or for the zoning administrator, I was very impressed with her interview then. I did not vote for her then because she didn't have the background that the other guys did. She was not a fit for that. But her knowledge in building, honestly, will be a big plus. Her age, to me, you guys gotta remember, I'm old, so
You're not old.
you don't have a whole lot of years left of me. We need an administrative assistant that is gonna be here, because we are the consistent. The rest of them can go every 4 years.
Right.
And we are the consistent, we are the one that, unless the board decides to fire us, that's us.
Yeah, and Alexia.
So I feel bad you have to make this choice. I don't think you're gonna go wrong with any of them.
Well, we can, so, actually, a motion for the hire, we can call them back in. If everyone wants to just state how they're going, we can essentially know how it's
I make
gonna
a
go.
motion, Kelly Hedberg.
Well, we'll call them back in, and we'll do the motion at that time.
Well, you're gonna do it in front of them?
You shouldn't do that.
I don't think
You don't think so?
No,
Mhm.
No.
no, you shouldn't.
Because they'll
No.
take it very personal.
No,
I mean, no, this-
I've never seen it done, the votes done in front of the candidates, never.
Do
It's-
it in front of just the one, otherwise it'd be completely disrespectful.
I think
Yeah.
just making your vote and then bring them in and thanking them
Yep.
all,
That's it.
and then saying who you chose. I mean, that's just my opinion.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah, that's
I don't think it would be, it's not fair to put them through it.
Very wise.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, well, so, then, did we have a motion, Carrie?
I make a motion, Kelly Hedberg.
Second that. Gotcha.
There's three.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
So, that means that the other two are not even an option?
Well, if we go through and we do this vote, and the vote ends up no, then there can obviously be another motion.
Okay.
Because my only concern is, like you said, it is nice that she is younger, because if she's gonna be here a while, and we need somebody, and you're probably not gonna be here, I don't know how much longer, but if she can have some time in, I would hope she wants to stay,
Yeah,
kind of thing. I don't know,
Yeah.
I know she is young, so there is time to move, because that's what I did. I lost, losing my job with the COVID thing kind of deal, and I'm firing now. Moving on to other things, like, so that's one concern I have, because she is young, it's like a plus and a minus. It's good that she's young, but she's good with computers, probably do a lot of computing stuff, I would imagine, like set spreadsheets and stuff. But then at the same time, there's possible for transition to other areas,
And she lives the furthest away.
make sure.
I like this
But
motivation.
to drive,
Shelley, or Lexi,
yeah.
I will say that her mother is the clerk for the city of Norton Shores. So and she didn't drop names, which I applaud her for. I know she has worked with her mother in the clerk's office. I know she's worked in the election, she's been an election inspector. So she knows the offices, she knows the city government. And when she says she wants to work in the government, I know that's honest, because she's worked with her mother before. But for her not to drop names, which I gotta give it to her, she didn't do it. It took me, after the first interview, to figure out who she was, because my brain wasn't working. So that is a plus, I think, on the plus side, even though she is young. I think she's focused on what she wants. And
A lot of experience too for a kid.
yeah,
I'm sorry, anybody under 30 is a kid.
Well, I still have a motion on the floor, so.
nope, that's
We
good.
do, but I want the discussion to be able to take place here, because when we do this roll call vote, that could potentially finalize things. So is there any other discussion? So we have a motion by Carrie, support by Gerald to hire Kelly Hedberg for the position. We will do a roll call vote.
Carrie,
Yes.
Gerald,
Yes.
Nola,
Yes.
Renee,
No.
Lee,
No.
Lori, no. Jeff?
Yes. Motion passes.
All right.
So, now, Steve, if we can grab everyone for us and bring them in and make our announcement.
How was your guys' Christmas?
It was wonderful yesterday.
Oh,
Because the weather came out.
Oh, yeah. just- July bank. They gave you some tickets.
Where would you like us?
Front row.
Front row?
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Have a seat. So there was discussion among the board. We appreciate everyone coming in. We did have a motion and support and did end up hiring someone. And so everyone was great, right? Everyone is technically in the top 4% of candidates for this position, so everyone had some support. But we did end up confirming Kelly Hedberg for the position.
Congratulations.
It's an awkward hiring inside of an open public meeting, and there isn't public here. But nevertheless, definitely appreciate everyone. I know that's a lot of pressure to come up and stand in front of a board and present and be asked
Yeah.
questions. So everyone held up well under that pressure. So definitely appreciate that.
Like you all.
Thank you very much.
It was very difficult.
I've never
It was, yeah, it was
we're
some
all
serious discussion there.
And at this point, if you would stick around for a little while, Kelly Hedberg, and we talk about a few onboarding things. You guys are free to stick around. We're just gonna
Oh,
finalize the meeting and adjourn, but obviously you're free to leave at any time as well.
okay. Well, thank you all very much.
Well, you're all
Thank you both times.
And I pray that you find your perfect place.
Yes, I will.
It's not a negative, it's truly not a
It's
negative.
not.
No.
No, it's not.
Very
You can't love everything, so
No,
I know
you
that,
can't.
yeah.
Knowing
I
your
Oh, and I
did
came
like
from the
that.
court system, I know what she's going through.
We do, so we're
I
almost
came
at
from
the
that
end here.
field, so I
So
know.
does anyone want to do second public comment? No public. So if we could get a motion to adjourn
Make a motion to adjourn.
and
I
a second.
second that.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
It's my first one getting in there.